Good afternoon, students. I am Munshi Rashidul Islam, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering, JIS College of Engineering. Now, today is the lecture number 19, and the topic that I covered in today's class, that is actually the fundamental of fatigue and its characteristics. That means the total chapter is basically depends on the main important point of a mechanical properties, that is fracture properties, that is the one fundamental properties, that is fatigue. So fracture mechanics, fatigue is the another most important vital name which is actually directly or indirectly involved in this paper, because fracture fatigue both are the correlated term. Without fatigue no fracture can be happen, and if the fracture is actually the last situation of the any mechanical components, and before the fracture fatigue properties can obtain. Now, so first of all, what is fracture? What is fatigue? So fatigue, if I experimentally investigate that the machine member of any type of machine member can sustain in the different load of different application, but when we are producing a number of, or we are producing a same load in repeated manner, or when the loads are applied in the repeating cycle, that means the member may be failed by the fracture at a stress level much more below the static stresses. That means when the member may fail, they said to be they are on that situation, they are called just like a these are the call just like a failed by the situation called fatigue. But it is called fatigue failure caused by the cyclic or repeated loading or completely reverse loading, when the maximum complete stresses or fracture or fatigue both are the similar phenomena, and which are basically dependent on the excessive load is applied on even such cases when the material are in loading conditions. So salient features and overview of the fatigue. So first point that is very important point, that is it is observed that materials subjected to dynamic or repetitive or fluctuating loads, and that may be failed at a stress level, that stress level much more lower than that of the required to cause fracture in a single application of a load. For some cases, if we see that the damage of material due to varying load for magnitude usually less than the yield stress, ultimately the leading of failure is termed as fatigue of a material, or specifically named as fatigue failure. It is estimated that the most of the cases the fatigue count for 90% of all service failure due to mechanical causes. That means the corrosion being of the other part of the major component. Now next point is the insidious part of the phenomena of fatigue failure is that it occurs without any obvious warning. Usually fatigue failure occur after considerable time of service. The service which has undergo fatigue fracture appears brittle without gross deformation of fracture. If I see the gross deformation which is actually in a macro scale level, on the other sides, if I see that the macro scale level, the fracture surface is usually normal to the direction of the principal tensile stress. Now, the next point, fatigue failure is usually initiated at a site of stress concentration. That means notch in the specimen or in a circular inclusion. The term fatigue is borrowed from the human reaction of tiredness. That means sometimes we repeatedly told this word fatigue. So that fatigue means tiredness due to repeated work. When we work done more than the limits, more than the tolerance limit, they can feel the fatigue. That means the tiredness. Fatigue testing is often conducted in bending or torsion mode. And next point, if the stress have a origin of thermal cycling, that means the fatigue is called the thermal fatigue. Now, the next point, the more important and valuable point, that is the factor affecting fatigue failure. So, some factors which are mainly responsible for the fatigue failure. There are three factors plays an important role in the fatigue failure. Number one, value of tensile stress. That means the maximum tensile stress value is responsible. Number two, magnitude of variation in stresses. That means the stress variable or stress variation is a major point. Number three, number of cycles. So if the number of cycles are more, then the fatigue can also happen, happen in repeated manner. Now, next point is geometrical. That means geometrical means specific specimen geometry and microstructural aspect also play an important role in determining fatigue life. That means the failure life. The stress concentrator for both these sources have a deleterious effect, and residual stress can also play a big role. Now, next point, a corrosive environment can have a deleterious interplay with fatigue. Factors necessary to cause fatigue failure. Number one, sufficiently high maximum tensile stress. Number one. Number two, large variation or fluctuation in stress. And number three, sufficiently large number of stress cycles. If the value of maximum stress experienced by the material is less than the yield stress, that should not be material be in purely elastic state. So on that cases, we are considered the anaxial tensile loading, which is actually responsible for the yield stress. That means sigma y as a microscopic yield stress and microscopic yielding by sleep, and that is initiated as a much lower stress value. In anaxial loading, this sleep usually does not lead to any appreciable effect or damage of the material. Number two, in cyclic loading, on the other hand, due to several sleep direction, instruction can be caused on the surface, which are like small surface cracks, precipitator to the full-blown crack. And on the other side, once a crack forms for this instruction, the local stress amplification takes place. And in the next point is, in the presence of the crack, the relevant material property that should be considered in fracture toughness. Types of stress levels or types of stress cycle and parameter characterization. So the pattern of loading experienced by a component that may be complicated, involving many frequencies and many include vibration. If the frequency of the loading is very high, it is referred to as vibration. The essential effect of such loading can be understood by simpler loading pattern like the sinusoidal curve, that is the figure number 2, showing in figure number 2. Now next, the tests involving such loading are easy to conduct and the result obtained in easy to interpret. Now first one is completely reverse cycle stress, and in this cases the simplest loading can conceive is a sinusoidal wave pattern loading where the stress or load oscillates about a mean zero load stress and the stress amplitude is marked as the figure. So if I see the figure, the stress residual stress sigma r is equal to sigma max minus sigma mean. Purely, next point is purely tensile cycles. The stress versus load oscillation may be sinusoidal, but the mean stress by load, stress per load, may be such that cases the stress state during the entire cycle is tensile. Needless to say that for a given stress amplitude, this type of loading is more severe as maximum stress, that is minimum stress plus residual stress. Various parameters are also defined in the equations. That means residual stress r sigma r is equal to sigma max minus sigma mean. That can I get from this cycle or from this diagram. Sigma a, that means the average value of tensile stress, that is equal to sigma a is equal to sigma r by 2. That means sigma x minus sigma mean by 2. Now sigma mean means sigma max. Here mean means MEN, mean. Sigma mean is equal to sigma maximum plus sigma minimum by 2. And the stress ratio R is equal to sigma minimum by sigma maximum. Now the amplitude ratio A is equal to sigma A by sigma m. Here sigma A is equal to average value, that means 1 minus R, and sigma m is equal to 1 plus R. So these are the 5 equations, very very important to complete any type of load stressing or load stress relation, where the stress level are also defined and you have to find out the mean stress value, average stress value, residual stress value, or amplitude ratio or stress ratio. These 5 points are very very important to calculate any type of fatigue related problem. A random stress cycle. The stress bar load oscillation may be sinusoidal, but the mean stress per load may be such that of the stress state during the entire cycle is tensile. But straightforward, it is actually a given stress amplitude, and this type of loading is more severe, and same case also be happen. And the stress level, if you see the stress level, green color stress level, that means obviously the compressive type, and the red color indicate the stress level might be tensile type. So green color indicate the compressive stress value, and red color above the zero line means above the mean line, it is indicating the tensile stress. SN curve is stress versus number of cycle. So in engineering fatigue data, which is actually plotted in stress versus number of cycles, that means SN curve. So here is S is equal to stress and N is equal to number of cycle of a failure, usually fracture. So x-axis is plotted log n, and the stress amplitude, stress plotted one of the following: sigma A, sigma max, sigma mean, and each plot is a constant sigma R, sigma M, and A. It should be noted that the stress values plotted in nominal value and does not take into count in local stress concentrator. So most fatigue in experiment are performed with sigma M is equal to 0. Typically, the stress value chosen in the stress is low, that means less than the sigma yield value. So the SN curve deal with the fatigue failure and a large number of cycles. That means the number of cycle may be higher than the 10 to the 5 cycle. So they are the high cycle fatigue test. Now it also be noted that the nominal stress is less than the sigma yield and the microscopic plasticity occurs, which leads the accumulation of damage. So in low cycle fatigue, the N is less than 10 to the power 4 or 10 to the power 5 cycle. That test conducted in controlled cycle in elastic plus plastic strain, which is actually strain control mode or instead of stress control mode. And in these cases, broadly, SN curve can be differential in two classes of material. One is for the ductile material and another is the brittle material, and fatigue limit by the endurance limit. That can be different for the different material. If I use the ferrous material, SN curve vary just like a straight line curve, and another non-ferrous material like aluminium, magnesium, copper, etc. Another type of curve can be created. Now, from a application point of view, having a sharp fatigue limit is usual, and keeping the surface stress below with the help of the long life. That means here the indication are there. Fatigue limit is equal to endurance limit, and that case is the top level of the green color indication, that is the mild steel, and red color obviously the aluminum alloy, and the number of cycles to failure that should be ranges from 10 to the power 5 to 10 to the power 7 number of cycle. SN curve Basquin equation, that means N into sigma A to the power P is equal to C, where sigma is equal to stress amplitude, P and C are the empirical constant. And these are the one type of equations. That means one type of problem which I maybe that means the one problem which is actually mentioned to calculate the one type of fatigue stress limit versus number of cycle. And so these are the example of typical example of problem related to fatigue failure. So all these points discussed here, mainly the different types of loading system, fatigue and fatigue failure, fatigue phenomena, endurance limit, stress versus number of cycles, and also the different fatigue failure area with respect to some specific material characteristics. That means fracture and fatigue both are passing and both are dependent on the material properties. So if the material are different for the different mode of application, so obviously fracture and fatigue may also be different, because in material cases, in elastic material, the fatigue may be clearly visible, but in ductile brittle material the fatigue not clearly visible, but obviously fatigue also be there. So these are the points of today's discussion. Now next classes we have discussed with a new topic. Thank you.